guys, this is Rosine again, and this is Your Story, My Inspiration podcast. I have a guest, this beautiful woman here, and we're gonna have fun today. I'm gonna let her introduce herself.
Hi everyone, my name is Titi and I have 3 children and I'm so excited to be here with you today, Rosine. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for showing up. And topic today is African parenting versus Western parenting. We're gonna have a lot of fun.
Wow, yes, that's an exciting topic, So there's so much that we're going to talk about and I'm excited to be able to share this with you.
Stay tuned. Let me remind you, my name is Rosine. This is your host. This is Your Story, My Inspiration podcast, where we share a lot of stories, experiences, helping each other, supporting each other, good message in general. And today, let me give you a hint. How about African parenting versus Western parenting? We can do that, right?
Yeah.
And there is a lot to say. There is a lot of ideas. I really hope you enjoy this podcast today.
I'm a mother of 3 beautiful girls and I think that's it.
Yeah, how long have you been here?
I've been in the US for almost 25 years.
25 years.
25 years,
Wow,
yes.
that is a very good experience in one country.
It is. I pretty much, live here my whole life.
Right.
Yeah.
Huh. Do you mean that you came here really young?
I did. I came here when I was very young. I was 7.
7 years old.
Yeah.
Some of us came here when we were just this old. That's why we are struggling to adjust in so many ways. But it's always a journey. We're learning every day. And I'm glad I have somebody who has been here for 25 years. So she has a lot of experience. Let's jump into African parenting. If I say African parenting, what comes to your mind like right now?
African parenting. I think the thing that comes to my mind is being raised in a family where you love each other, your parents love you, your siblings love you, but we never really vocalize that. It's just I guess they just show it by action, but they don't vocalize that to you and tell you like, hey, I love you, good night, have a good night, I love you, things like that. They don't tell you. You just have to learn that they love you by what they do for you, and they don't say it.
Well, I'm gonna support her point by saying I don't think I ever heard my mom or dad telling me that they love me.
No.
It's not like they hated me. No,
No.
don't get me wrong. But putting food on the table was I love you, Rosine.
Yes.
Bringing me to a very great school to be educated was I love you.
Yeah.
A new dress, new shoes on Christmas.
Yeah.
That was I love you.
And the funny part is, Rosine, it's like when they do those kind of stuff, we appreciate it so much, but we also know that they're doing that out of love. They don't need to say it to us for us to know that they love us. By doing things like that, for some reason, children or kids who are born from African descendants or African parents, it just clicks for them that's how it is. That's how they show their love. It's because their parents never told them that too. So it's like a generational thing. It's not just us. Our parents, they never heard that either, that they were loved. Or well, they were told that they were loved. They just had to know.
Right. I'm curious right now, you guys. Lovely people. Just drop a comment here. If you were raised in African family, like if you are from the motherland, and you ever heard like I love you, like our generation 90s, 80s, please let me know because I would want some refund from my family. I'm kidding. But
I think it's a small percentage of people who actually admit that their parents did say that to them. But the majority of us, I know for a fact that we didn't hear it. They didn't tell us to us.
Yeah, that is part of African families though, because it doesn't mean that they really hate you. For example, let's get into a little bit sensitive part of African parenting. you don't talk back to them. You don't make a mistake, because even
Oh,
one
no.
look on my dad's face meant, Rosine, you didn't shower. Rosine, you get out without permission, you're gonna have to deal with me. But sometimes if I cross that line knowing that was gonna be a trouble, then something on my behind, boom, boom, boom.
Something, and that will teach you.
And that could be anything, like from his pants, a belt.
Shoes.
I didn't get a belt, by the way. But yeah, there was like
Whatever
this
they have on
stick.
their hands, they would
Yeah.
just use that to,
The way we want to explain this today, it's not like we are judging them or criticizing them, because most of the things that I would say that would affect you would be violently when they didn't love you for real. Like they punish you physically, but they don't feed you. No, we were living in a rent-free, free food. So the boss is there. You gotta listen. That's
you gotta
it.
listen. Yeah. They expect you to listen to them because they do love you, even though they don't tell you. But at the same time, they're your parents. And in Africa, your parent is like your second God. That's what I would say. It's like the second God. They're after God. So anything that they say goes. But it's different from children here, because we have seen how they talk back to their parents. They talk back to their parents that they're their friends sometimes, They don't give their parents that respect that children from Africa, give to their parents. It's so different.
Thanks for blending in like in the culture already, because that's why we are here, to compare the both cultures, but trying to find also a common ground, because this is us in a new generation abroad, trying to see ways we would raise our future children. You have children and you expect these little ones, these beautiful girls here, to respect you. But whatever you teach them, if they go to school, they're gonna pick some things up that you didn't tell them.
Yeah, that's true. But they might go to school and they might meet other kids who have different behaviors, but having that foundation for them at home can sometimes help them. It depends on your child. It depends how I don't know if I should say tough they are or how soft they are, but it depends how your child is. You might find one kid who goes and is easily influenced by other kids, but then you might find another child that, they hold on to the values and the things that they learned from their home to the point where it won't affect them when they meet other kids who have different behaviors.
When I was doing my thesis in grad school, I got the chance to read some articles about parenting, African parenting, because I was curious too. I was like, sometimes they hear the heaven out of us, because sometimes we did really bad stuff and we hurt their feeling, and the only way they knew was correcting us physically. So I was doing a thesis that is about Africans, how they adjust into a new culture in US, and I landed on these two articles, and one is where kids were talking about African parenting, because somebody was trying to probably gather information out of them, saying, hey, did you hate it when you got whooped, when they spanked you and stuff? But most of kids said, we never hated our parents because they physically punished us, because we knew that we did something wrong, like literally wrong. And that put them in a position where they would wonder. Imagine getting out of your bed in the morning, like 8 a.m., without showering, without doing anything around the house. All day long. Then you come back looking like a homeless person. It's what I mean. They didn't know, you didn't communicate, and then you think you're gonna get in that house that they pay, the food they buy, and you think it's gonna be like nothing happened. No. Where did you spend your 8 hours of the day?
What were you doing?
So in case that you even think like I can do that again, and nope. There was a way to correct you. So most of the kids in those articles, I may give you later the sources of where I read them. It was in school though. I'm not sure to find them again. But they were so grateful. They were like, if they didn't do that,
Yeah.
I don't know who I would become, because I was
Exactly.
crazy. So it's not like they hated us, but they did it with love.
With love, yeah.
You may deny it right now. You may say, hey, because maybe you were raised in a culture like a Western culture where they just do gentle parenting. Is that it?
Gentle parenting,
Yeah,
yes.
and you would think it's really bad, but most of kids knew that there was love in that. And maybe you talk about your family or whatever the experience you have in your childhood growing up, but to me, I knew who was the boss.
Yeah.
You know, I knew that I was eating free, rent free, so I had to be obedient. How about you?
Yeah. No, I agree with you for the most part, but I do agree that gentle parenting is important, especially in this generation. Everything in this generation is you have to be gentle. You have to be gentle about every single thing about these kids nowadays. Because if you're not gentle to them, they're going to find other ways. It's going to lead to other things. But I also agree with the way our parents raised us. Not 100%, but I do think spanking a little is okay. I'm not saying abuse your kids, but a little discipline will take them a long way. Just like you said, some children are grateful that their parents did that to them. Because if it wasn't for that spank or the, I don't want to call it beating, but the spanking, maybe some of them would have took a different path in life because they knew they had the freedom to do that. Nobody was able to like control them, or no one was able to, you know, put a stop to whatever they were doing. But that spanking gives them the opportunity to just like think back, like, oh my gosh, like if I do this, my parents are gonna be mad at me, they're gonna spank me. So it stops them from doing a lot of bad stuff because they know what's waiting for them at home. So I think in this parenting age, people should incorporate both. You know, don't abuse your children, but then gentle parent them, but don't let your children get away with everything they want. Don't let your children be the parents. You be the parents of your children.
I was gonna add, so not oversharing about my family, but let's say we were 6, 3 giant guys,
Yeah.
plus 3 girls, and I didn't have really to get a lot of spanking because I could hear stories. They would, you know, talk about. Do you remember that time when you stole dad's skirt? Do you remember that time where?
So you got scared before you even got there. Yeah.
So I knew that it was there. They used
Yeah.
to tease me, "Hey, you didn't get a lot of spanking.
Yeah.
We had it for you because dad was getting older, didn't want to bother, but we got like a lot of spanking." And when I went to boarding school later on, you know, in boarding school, when you don't behave correctly and follow through the rules, then they send you home.
Yeah.
And when they send you home,
Oh yeah, you know what's waiting for you.
it's trouble. Bring your parents, then you're gonna be punished by the school, but
Yeah,
also parents,
your parents.
gonna you know.
Yeah.
But when I was in boarding school, even thinking of, you know, that we had some school rules that says you gotta tuck your shirt.
tuck your shirt in.
Yeah, you tuck your shirt. So some would be like, I don't wanna. I was neat,
Yeah.
haircut, perfect.
Because the stories,
uniform.
right?
I didn't want to go
Yeah.
home. I didn't want to. I was like, if
Yeah.
they bring my mom here,
Yeah.
no, there is no way.
Yeah.
There is no way.
Yeah.
So that helped me to behave all the time.
Yeah.
Being on time. And you know what helped me a lot later?
Yeah.
It's just even knowing that it was gonna be temporary, because when I got out of high school and started university, I did whatever I wanted to do.
Yeah.
You know, putting lipstick if I wanted to. Why would I fight
Yeah.
with the headmaster at school if I could put
Exactly.
it out later?
But the most thing that you were afraid of is your mom.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No, I didn't want to. I didn't want to bring her to school at all.
I would say a lot of people can relate to you, including myself, because I knew, oh my gosh, if I do this, and I know my parents don't support it, or my older siblings, I was gonna get in trouble at home. So I would like try to stay away from a lot of things because I knew what was waiting for me if I did those certain stuff.
Did you just bring in something that I didn't even think about? Your older siblings.
Yes.
Imagine being punished by your sister or big brother.
Yeah.
Then when your parents come back, if they tell about you, then
Yeah.
you're gonna get another punishment.
Exactly. And that's the thing for me, now that I look at it, that's the thing I love about our African culture, because not just your parents are your parents, but your older siblings represent your parents, even if they're there. You know, they do the things that your parents are supposed to do for you. They are responsible for you because they're older than you. But most of the times you find in America, it's not like that, or just other cultures like Western culture, it's not like that. It's like your parents are your parents. They're the one who's supposed to tell you what to do. They're the one who's supposed to make the final decisions for you, or decisions if you cannot. But in our African culture, our siblings are like our parents, and we respect that. We respect them as much as our parents too. Don't you agree?
I agree with you, and also I was gonna add something on top of that. Not because the history made us like favor or to learn anything, but let's say after genocide, many families lost their parents. There were a lot of orphans, and you know, all the siblings took over, they had to know how to be parents at the youngest age. And they had to do what they had to do. So if you were only 19 and you have to raise your little ones, your little siblings of maybe 10 or 6, then you gotta have that authority to make sure that they understand there is no dad and mom, but you can take care of them. So one of the things that help in the culture is knowing like, oh, my sister's gonna kill me if I dare doing that. You know, so that was another example, probably different from what we're talking about. But this is where we say like how to blend in this culture where we live, because I'm gonna be a parent at some point. You are having like kids that you're willing to raise in a certain way. And my question to you right now, how do you feel about parenting? You have 5 years old already or something like that. How do you, like, what is your experience so far raising kids in the US?
Okay. That's a good question, Rosine. Experience raising kids in the US, it's difficult to raise kids in the US. I would say it's totally different than raising a child in Africa. I left Africa when I was young, but the way I was raised by my family, I still, you know, those values still follow me up to today. But children here, if you don't put your foot down and raise your child the way you want to raise them, your child could turn to be something else. So with my experiencing raising my children, I try to incorporate how I was raised and how raising children nowadays is. I try to put those two together, you know, not wanting to do one too much and, you know, the other one, you know, a little bit. I try to incorporate those two parenting skills together and try to maybe have a child that's gonna know both sides, and then have a child that's at the end of the day knows I love her, but at the same time, if she does something wrong, this is what's gonna happen. And that's how it is. That's how we're raising our children. I can tell you right now, our oldest, who is now aware of things, she knows if she does something wrong, she's gonna get in trouble. But at the same time, mommy and daddy loves her. We tell her that, and she knows. But she knows where to draw the line with us. We are her parents. We love her. We're not her friends. But at the same time, if she chooses to do something against our will, or she's not listening when we are telling her not to do something, there's consequences for that. And let me tell you something. If we don't teach our children that in our house, somebody else is going to teach them outside.
That's true.
Yeah, somebody else is going to teach her outside. Not only that, if she doesn't learn, she's going to end up somewhere bad.
You mentioned that she knows that you love her. You guys love her. How did you make that obvious? How do you know that they are loved?
Yeah.
What do you do?
Yeah, like I said, it's different from how I was raised. I know my parents loved me and my family loved me without them coming and vocalize that to me. But for me, the difference is I let her know that I love her.
You say it.
I say it to her.
And you feel really so safe and comfortable of saying her.
A lot, 100%. I feel comfortable. I feel safe. I feel that she deserves to know that she is loved, But at the same time, if she messes up or she's not listening when you're trying to teach her something, not like, you know how it is, like something, if she's doing something she's not supposed to, then she knows there's going to be consequences. And the consequences can be a spank or it can be putting her in a timeout. But she's going to have to pay for her action. Like I said, if I don't teach her in my house, somebody else is going to teach her. So which one would you rather have? You teach your child how to be, or you want somebody else to do that for you?
I'm going to break a chain of stereotypes right now. Like this minute on, I know my dad loved me a lot. Rest in peace.
Oh.
I know mom loves me a lot, but I never heard of it. So I'm going to start right now. And I'm going to make sure that you understand what I'm saying in this video. I love you, mom. I love you a lot. I love you every day. And I love everything that you taught me. I'm breaking the chain. I hope my family can watch this and tell everyone and each other that they love each other.
That's true. And it's good to express that to people that you love, people that, you know, mean a lot to you, because you never know. We're living a life. You never know what could happen tomorrow, you know? And it's sad to know that we love each other, but we don't tell each other. And it's only one word. What is so hard about expressing that you love your family member or you love your children? There's nothing hard about that.
There's nothing really hard about that. And I want to just bring this to light that one of the things that I want to say that Western culture we should learn from the Western culture is words of affirmation, including I love you. You know, they take these little ones, less than 1 year, they start telling them that they love them, that they are beautiful and handsome, that they can be or do whatever they want to be or do since little. They grow up with that confidence. Can we get that confidence from our family?
We need to get that confidence in our children too, because you know what? You know, our African parents, like our moms especially, that's what I'm gonna put on the spot. Our moms, when they're mad at you, they'll yell at you and say, like they'll call you a name. Like Gipfu or something, you know, they'll just say all these, they insult you with all these like strong words. And some kids, those words can be internalized. They're like, oh, I am stupid because my mom called me stupid.
Oh, I see your point, and I can really relate. I wasn't insulted that way. Thankful I grew up in a stable family. But I know some kids I could hear from neighbors, like not only you are beating them up, but you are saying words that are going to affect them emotionally. So I would say that is one of the things that parents from Africa can correct. Yes, you can correct somebody, but you don't need to hurt their feelings really so hard to the point that they can remember the rest of their life. They said I'm stupid. They said that I can't do anything. That is that way of parenting is not really good.
And those words can really, you know, affect the kids to the point where they don't want to do anything with their life because mom said I'm this.
I hope you're getting the difference here. We are trying to say punishing a kid. You know, we have a culture, you grew up in, you spank, you pull a ear here when they have 0 grade, you can, you know, slap a little bit. But the words you add on top of that can affect them. I would understand if you did that, hey, don't do that anymore. You listen to me, then you go on the side with them, hey, I don't hate you, but you did something wrong. And I really want you to become this person. Then talk to them, communicate. And we probably gonna come back on this communication, like open communication, talking to your parents, talking to your kids, back like 2 ways communication, not like from top to down. Girl, you're gonna wash those dishes, blah, 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 all the time.
I said, go do this. Oh, I said, just have open communication with your children. You know, let's go back to the point of like punishing them or, you know, disciplining them. Yes, if you're gonna pull their ear, which I don't really recommend. I feel like if you're gonna punish your child, punish them with love. Don't just slap them anywhere, you know? Don't just spank them anywhere. Their face or, you know, their arms, at least try on their bottom, you know? At the same time, don't spank them like you're spanking an animal.
It's like
Yeah.
a diet, everyday diet. You're gonna get boom, boom, boom
Yeah.
every day. No, that's not what we are saying.
Yeah, but you spank them gently, but at the same time to where it's hurting her or him a little bit to a point where he realized, oh, I did something wrong. But some parents, I think, they just anywhere. They just spank. Like, is this your child that you're spanking, or this is like something else? Discipline them, but discipline them with love. And that open communication is very important, I think, because if you're just spanking them and not telling them what they did wrong, how are they gonna know what they did wrong? They're gonna feel like my mom hates me. They're gonna feel like my dad just, my dad doesn't love me, and they have all these questions maybe, or they just feel like, oh, I don't know what I did. But if you open up to them and say, hey, like you said, I did this because this and this and this. Please don't do that next time. They will know the difference.
Trust me, I'm gonna add that before we wrap up this conversation because we don't want to be boring or anything. But I will add that. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever experienced love, like really genuine love, to the point where you know that person loves you a lot, like a lot, like our parents loves us, to the point where you feel like you don't want to hurt them, you don't want to disappoint them. That person in your life is the most important person in your life, that you feel like, no, the way I'm being treated here, the way I'm given value here, the way I'm heard, the way I'm listened to, I wouldn't want to disappoint that person.
Yeah.
That's what we are talking about. Make sure that that relationship is not like up, down, like kid.
Yeah.
But
you're looking down on them.
yeah, love them to the point where they know my mom, my dad love me the way I deserve. So I wouldn't want to disappoint them. I wouldn't want to do anything to hurt them. And I'm telling you the truth. When you are loved, you don't dare to do goofy stuff.
Yeah. When you love, I agree with you. When you loved, you know that, I don't want to do something that will help my parents, especially since they love me so much, But at the same time, if you have to discipline your kids, just be gentle while you're disciplining them. And it's a lot.
She's standing on disciplining, and I'm not gonna disagree because some of us grew up in that culture. We're just trying to find the common ground where, because I spoke to so many parents from Africa when I was doing my master's degree, the thesis helped me to talk to some of parents from Kenya, from Uganda. They were all saying they call police on us just because we spanked them, and they know that they did something really wrong. They did this and that. Like for probably generation back, like older generation, there is no way to remove that in their DNA. But for us, there is a way to do things right. There is a way to have that open communication, expressing love vocally. I love you. It doesn't hurt. So that you can hear that back. Because right now, when I trained myself to tell my mom that I love her, except earlier that I wanted to make sure that I do that when I still can.
Yeah.
You feel like, how am I going to, in which language?
Awkward. You feel very
in which
awkward
language?
to say that.
Sometimes I would use French because I know she speaks French, but in my mother tongue, ndagukunda, wow.
It sounds very strange.
Yeah. Oh my God. But next time, Mama, I call you, very soon, I'm going to tell you in Kinyarwanda that ndagukunda.
Yeah.
Just to make sure that I say and normalize those words of affirmation and stuff. So before we conclude, before you get to the end of this conversation, is there any message you would have there for new parents, like new generation, like they call them
new moms,
Generation X, that are trying to raise other kids? Like we are kids already, we feel like we are still kids, but we are getting married and we are getting kids, and we have to know how to do the parenting right. Is there any message you would get out there for new parents who are trying to raise kids in the Western world, grew up in that family that we got the spanking and whooping and we had to obey all the time? Is there any message you would have for them?
Yeah, I think the message that I just have for like new parents is love your children and let them know that you love them, but at the same time I'm still standing on my ground. There's gentle parenting, But gentle parenting too is like, these children, when you gentle parent them, it's like they can listen to you or they cannot. But when you can set
Boundaries.
you can set boundaries, but at the same time, you can set a technique where your family goes by. If you do this, this is what's going to happen. And for me, I don't promote abuse at all, but at the same time, I think that disciplining your children in your home is the best gift you can give your children. Because at the end of the day, if you don't do it, like I keep repeating myself, outside they will discipline them for you. And everything that everything that happens outside, it's most likely is going to be bad. So you do your best and discipline your child the best you can, but at the same time show them love, be there for them, have an open communication with them, and your child will know what to do when they get outside.
Girl in the background, do you hear what mom just said? You better behave.
They know.
Because she's standing on business. They know. I love that. And I will add on top of that what she means, no abuse.
Yeah.
But again, there are some points in life where you said it 3 times, 4 times, but girl is just, the attitude is there. This attitude that they learn in school, like
Yeah. I know.
Like
I have a 5-year-old. I know.
Or you said it so many times over and over again, but she doesn't know who is the boss.
Yeah.
Then she's gonna learn who is the boss.
Yeah.
In the corner right now.
Yeah.
You tried the timeout.
Yeah.
You tried everything. It didn't work. Then I saw her. She has a good behind there.
Yeah, the first thing I try to do is eliminate anything with like spanking or anything like that. I try with the timeout. First, I let her know multiple times, please stop doing this, multiple times. If she doesn't listen, then it's going to be timeout, immediate timeout. And timeout, most of the time, timeout works. Believe it or not, sometimes it's like some days like she already knows what's gonna happen, so she doesn't really respect it that much. But majority of the time when I put her in timeout, she comes back, she's like, Mommy, I'm sorry.
Aww.
Yeah, Mommy, I'm sorry. It's like to the extent when she doesn't listen, that's when I try something different. But majority of the time the timeout works, which is what a lot of people should try first before you run to discipline your child in another way, spanking them. Just try different stuff, different methods.
Again, we mentioned the love, expressing love and doing the best, open communication. That way, it's rare that you need to go to the next level. It's rare that you need to do that.
Yeah.
Because they know that you love them. They know that they should be good kids. So hopefully you don't need to get there.
Yeah. And another thing they should do actually is, before you do anything, let's say at this point she's not listening to you, you have warned her or him multiple times, then you tell them what's your next step. Okay, I told you 3 times and you're not listening to me. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to take you time out. You're going to stay there until Mommy comes to get you out. You're letting them know what's happening. So next time when she thinks about doing the same thing or does something else she knows that you don't approve of, she's going to be like, oh, you know what's coming? Time out.
I'm taking notes. I can't wait to have mine so I can practice all that.
I wish you babies soon for sure.
Oh, thank you.
It's a blessing,
Yeah, it's a blessing.
But it's a lot of work. Having kids is definitely a blessing.
Wow, why are you switching now?
No. I'm just telling you the reality of it. You know how some people just tell you, oh my gosh, babies are like great. They are great, but just know that it comes with a lot of other things too. It's a lot of work.
I think I'm ready.
You're ready? It's good.
I think I can do that.
No, I'm sure you can.
I love kids.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure you can. Like, a lot of people, they love kids, but people don't tell them the reality of it until you find yourself in there. You're like, what?
There is no menu. There is no book to read.
There's no menu to read how to raise a kid. Like, you see all these different scenarios. You're just like, what? Nobody ever told me this. How come? But then you get to learn as you go, and it becomes like the most rewarding experience.
Thank you so much, Titi, for sharing your experience, and I'm glad that we could speak in all ways that we feel about things, like from the background where we were raised in African families, to the point where we are talking about African parenting versus Western parenting. There is a way. You guys, if you're struggling, if you're a new parent here and you're struggling and think like you don't know what to do, now you have some few tips. First off, I'm gonna try to summarize what she just said, and so we wrap up. First off, like, I'm gonna try to be so fast though. Love them, love as you should, love as they deserve it. Give them the value they deserve. Through that love, that's when they're gonna know this person is very, very important to me. I don't want to disappoint them. By love, we mean it's not only for putting food on table as like our mothers and dads did in the past, only dressing them up or putting them in a school, but let them know that they are loved. Have good time with them. Quality time is really important. Because this world is really busy. You just give them a phone and you want them watch TV only, but they need you physically to sit with you and feel that love and laugh with you. They're gonna want to play probably stupid stuff with you, but that's how they want it, and they want to have that experience and good memories.
Yeah.
Through that love, again, I'm gonna mention one more thing. Make sure that they know, on top of being mom or dad, on top of going to good school and eating like free food at home, they are your friends. They can tell you anything. They can report to you after 8 hours at school. Hey, mom, you know what? I had my first crush at school. Oh, now I know my, those generation that crush. How dare you? I don't want to see a boy here. You listen, but you don't judge.
Yeah.
You know that?
Exactly.
You just talk to them and you learn what culture says about it here. How does it work? You don't want to traumatize them, because these the days where parents were like, I don't want to see a boy here. I don't want to see a girl here. Then you hit your 35 years old and birthday, start
And you don't have anybody.
Where is my son-in-law? Is he gonna fall from heaven? You said not to bring a boy.
Oh my God.
So those days, they were really good. So getting back to our conversation, remember to love them as you should. Remember to express that and just be their friends, communicate. Then when it's so many boundaries and lines will cross, then, put them in the corner and, you know what I'm going to do that? Why am I going to do this? Are you sure? Because next time you do this, it's going to be even worse. Just talk to them.
Yeah.
What can I say? I have a good experience here.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing.
You're welcome. I'm so happy that I was able to share with your viewers and just having you here. And I think this is like an important topic people should talk about. Parents, get close to your children. Get close to your children. Let them be open to you. It's going to save a lot of trouble for them, in the future. Plus, we're a different generation.
Right.
So our parents raised us the best that they could. So we need to do our best to raise our children the way the world is right now,
Thank you for
But at the
saying
same
that.
time, incorporate your values in there. But be understanding and be loving to your children.
Oh, isn't it that really brilliant? I hope we can do more like this.
I would love to. This was
me
so
too.
much fun.
I know. I think I had so much fun too.
No, yeah.
And I hope the audience, like, you get the message here. We are trying just to blend in the culture, but we are also trying to do the best for the kids, because we are Generation X, or we are like
Millennials,
those
kids,
grown kids who are trying to have other kids and families. So I hope you get it.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna wrap this conversation reminding you, this is Your Story, My Inspiration podcast. If you're parenting and have a different experience, please communicate, reach out to me. Remember, the channel is Rosine, my name, D Kamugisha. Let me spell that for you so you can find it easy. Rosine, Rosine, D as, I'm not gonna say dog. Why can't I find that word for dog? D Can you give me something?
Dove.
Do you know what is
Yes.
it? Then Kamugisha, Kamugisha.
Oh, that's a pretty
Rosine
name.
D. Kamugisha. Thank you. Murekatete is a pretty name
Thank
too.
you. Thank you so
Do you want to
much.
explain what that means?
Oh my gosh. So if you explain in English, I think it's going to sound...
Roughly.
yeah, it's going to sound kind of like bad because murekatete, like guteta means like you're spoiled, right?
I would just translate it like
It's like that is girl, right?
Let her be loved.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know. Like
No.
when I try to translate it, it sounds like I'm a little spoiled girl, something like that. That's how my name sounds. But
Which culturally was allowed to call like
Yeah.
girls names like those because
Yeah.
in our culture they wanted women to have good names to feel loved, like Uwase, like you know, girl, dad's girl, girl's
daddy's girl, yeah.
daddy's girl,
Yeah, Umutoni.
like Umutoni,
Yeah.
you know. So they were good names. Oh, is there another topic? No, bye. Thank you guys for listening. We gotta let you do your stuff and not take that long, but I really hope we can do another conversation. Thank you
of
so
course, you're welcome. Thank you for having me. Bye, guys.
much. Bye. See you next time.